We're starting.
Yeah. Coming through, signals clear. Oh yeah, it's Geocache Talk. Woo!
It's time for Geocache Talk. Whether you are at work, in the car, or wherever you are, we hope you enjoy this show about the great sport of geocaching. If you're watching live on YouTube, you can be part of the adventure tonight in the chat room and participate with others as they watch the show. If you are listening later, please give it a like and subscribe on your favorite podcasting app so that you can get all of the weekly Geocache Talk goodness.
Big thanks to Joshua, Geocaching Vlogger, for our new opening, and our featured patrons, Skippy Teddy 83 and Casper Fly, Retired Guy. Well, that sounds good, doesn't it? Retired Guy.
What can sign me up for that?
Why can I be Retired Guy?
I'm ready.
Are you ready to? Firefly 8317, Team Murky, 1940 Chevy, Joyful Nomad, Hobie Geocachers, Crime Fighter 89, Demaco 4, OLB 1992, and our new patrons, CP 590, Swifty Golden, The Pizza Ninja, Geocache, get it? Geocache, get it? Okay. DMN Rec, Widget Brittle, and Action Trinity. If you'd like to become a patron, click on the Become a Patron link. It's the heart on the front of the website. On the front page of the Geocache Talk website. You can go to patreon.com/Geocache Talk for more details as well. Patrons get the now famous blackout coin. Oh, he's got his. See?
That's not my first time with this rodeo.
Right. It's not his first time. It's not his first rodeo. And other geocaching items during the year, as well as bonus content, invite special events. We have the bonus content. We've got book club coming up a week from Monday.
Right after challenge, yeah.
Right after challenge. And we've got a patron party coming up on March 23rd. So patrons be aware. That's a Tuesday. Whenever we have a fifth Tuesday in a month, we're going to do patron parties. So all patrons, any level that they are participating in, can be a part of it. And we're going to do Quiplash again, like we played at Podcast of Hope. So that can get pretty crazy. You can get Quazy Cupcake there. Quazy. It can get crazy and a lot of fun. So that's March 23rd for all patrons. So if you'd like to become a patron, you can jump in now. You can be part of the book club, be part of that. Other special events only for patrons. There is a patron meet and greet, properly distanced, at Texas Challenge. We're going to be standing out front at a
fire engine.
Kind of a
I thought you said. I thought it is.
You see that?
I thought it was a fire engine.
Yeah,
Fire
it's
engine,
a fire engine, and it's out front of a storefront or a little area. So we're gonna have a little bit of a giveaway for patrons and see everyone
in Texas. I thought they kind of changed the rules a little bit.
They did. Mask mandate is no longer as of Wednesday.
So our patron party will be post that.
It will be. So you don't have to wear one if you don't want one. You don't.
So the proper one then just like, good manners at that point, or
yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
You do it, you do you at that point. You should always just do you.
There you go.
So, there you go.
Sounds like a good plan.
Yep.
I have a mask. One should always have a mask. That's
a
just
mask.
me.
Do you have a mask and a cowl and a whole cape?
Unfortunately, my cowl is in the wash.
Okay.
So, I
get that thing dry clean and be ready, my friend.
Indeed.
I'm really surprised we didn't see more of that throughout the pandemic. I guess the Batman mask is the reverse of what you're supposed to wear. So
Yeah, it's covered.
that would be the opposite of what you need to wear.
It's the opposite.
Most cowls would not actually work, but
Exactly.
If somebody had come up with like an amazing Batman mask, everybody would have been wearing one.
that's true.
Totally. I think that was an opportunity missed, but that's just me.
Yes, it was.
All I know.
Oh, next pandemic. Ugh.
Don't even
Okay.
say that. That's not even funny, even a little bit.
He's
Uh,
not wrong.
Support levels start at as little as Bison Tube level, $3 a month. Let's jump right into show 237. Boy, I'm not making good mouth tonight. Show 237 as we welcome back to the show Marcellus Cadd, aka Atreides 78723.
Hello.
Glad to have you back, my friend.
Why, thank you. I was glad to be back.
We have a lot to talk about, and you've got a lot of fans. I just want to mention that you've got a huge following.
I pay them well.
Yeah.
Marcellus Batman.
And I don't know how, because you never put out any information. So I don't know how people have even heard of you.
It's very subtle. There's lots of ins and outs, Swiss bank accounts. It's really complicated stuff. My accountant usually handles it. So
Okay.
Here you
Oh, wait a
go.
minute. And to answer the Pizza Ninja, I am the knight.
He is the knight. Patron face masks. Yes, we have those. I'm getting a
Those
little
those
feedback
might
from
exist.
somebody.
Indeed.
I don't know. Everybody kind of turn your volume down a little bit. I'll
Hold
turn
on.
mine down too, just a touch. Getting feedback. So, all right. Okay. Yep. Better. Patron face masks. Yeah. If you go to the website, we actually have some face masks out there. If you want to buy, they're not necessarily patron. Anyone can purchase them. But since you mentioned patron face masks, there are Geocache Talk face masks. If you want to buy some, they're out there. Actually, have one. They're pretty nice. I think they're very well done. And so anyway, so there you go. No, not Quelf. We're playing Quiplash. It's instead of Whiplash, it's Quiplash. Okay.
I'm not
All right.
familiar with Quilt. So
All right, here we go. So we got some news. Let's do a little bit of news, and we can kind of get started. It's little news. It's not big news. Little news.
Little news, not big news.
All right. So this is a week before Texas Challenge.
Mm-hmm.
About. So pretty excited about that. All of us will be there, which is kind of cool. It's kind of interesting the fact that we've got a mega. I mean, a lot of people are like, I don't know if you guys have seen or heard people's reactions. They've been kind of mixed. I've seen the how dare you go outside type comments.
You want to guess my opinion on those people's opinions?
I know.
I can tell you exactly what it is. Guess
I
what?
know.
Don't go. Nobody's going to
yeah.
swing by in a white van and kidnap you from your house and force you to go to that mega. If you don't feel
Yeah.
comfortable out there,
Don't
stay
go.
home.
I've heard the
That's the nice version, by the way. Well, I'll save the other one for the patron after party.
there you go. Perfect. I've heard the jealous. I'm so jealous, which we appreciate. That we wish everybody could be there.
Yeah, for sure.
But it is what it is, and we're allowed to have it. Plus, all the events are outdoors, so it's kind of interesting that.
yeah.
I mean, that really helps a lot. I mean,
A
even
lot.
like all the breakfasts are outdoors, so.
Right.
And Cisco
weather's-
is opening. They're opening up for everybody so widely. They're doing so much. They're making it so much easier because if this was all going to be indoors, I would consider whether I was going to be able to go myself, which
Yeah.
Yeah.
kind of contractually obligated to since TXGA and all. But I don't feel I mean, yes, masks and hand sanitizer, and please, please, please be as safe as I intend to be. But I think it can work.
Yeah,
I'm feeling pretty good about this.
I am too.
Well, it can be done. So I was fortunate enough to get to go to my first event in a long time this weekend. It was a CETO. It was outdoors. You didn't have to be right next to each other, touching each other. You're cleaning up trash. You're spreading out on a whole trail that was like miles long, right? So you got to be as comfortable as you wanted to be. And I think that's where that personal responsibility comes in. Obviously, if it's an unsafe situation for you, don't go to that situation. Just like you said, if it's indoors, a lot of people would have to rethink that one, right? Like I would have to rethink it. I work in education. I'm not trying to bring something back. At the same time, I'm not scared to go outdoors. I can be outdoors around people. I know how to act like a grown person. I can do all those things. But that should be open to everybody, right? I mean, like, do it safely, but do it safely to the level that you feel comfortable with. Like you said, mask, clean yourself, shower before you go, take your full decon when you get back, just shower down. Be happy and healthy. You're not forced to do this. So this is something that should be fun, but it shouldn't be a source of stress. Nobody's obligated to go, nor nobody's obligated to shake hands when you get there or, crowd up in a small room. And I wouldn't feel comfortable with that either. But I hope people can go and kind of emerge on this and start being happy again. And hey, there's people out there actually still. I'm not the only cacher in the world. I can actually see other cachers, real life cachers in person.
Oh man, I'm so excited to see everybody.
Yeah.
Chad's asking because he's coming down. I'm just joining. Our mask required? They're not required if you're talking about from Wednesday on.
Right.
Pardon me. Yeah. So, I'm all choked up about it. I'm so excited.
But they're not required by the state and the rules and the county and everything else. That doesn't mean if like Marcellus, if you want one, wear one.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If that makes you feel comfortable, wear a mask. Wear your Batman suit. Who cares? Do whatever you got to do.
There you go.
I wear this thing. I literally wear this thing around my neck, like at all times when I'm not indoors.
There you go. Yep. See, he's ready.
But you can do what you feel comfortable with. So I think nobody's going to kick you out for wearing a mask or even look down on you for wearing a mask. If you feel that makes you feel comfortable, do it.
Yep. So on
You're
Saturday,
beyond embarrassment.
That's right. That is true.
You're beyond embarrassment.
Yeah. If you still get embarrassed, you're not grown enough yet. So.
Yeah, what is this bathe thing? Well, he's like, Roomba Cats is like, oh, wait, hang on a minute. No one's saying anything about bathing here.
I mean, at least once before you come. You don't have to do it every day, but just once before you come.
It helps. I mean, if it gets really bad, I guess you can like roll around in dirt and scrub yourself off real good with dirt. But I mean, that's not going to be anywhere near as effective. And
well, I guess if you can smell his body odor or their body odor, you're too close for Corona anyway. So back up. You're not social distancing. Maybe that's their test.
Yeah, if you can
smell me, you don't understand social distancing.
That's funny. That's good stuff there. So Saturday is the finish.
I don't think we're selling this to anybody right now.
Yeah, really. We're not, I guess.
I can't sell a starving man food. All I can say is it's going to be fun. It's going to be safe.
It will be.
If you don't feel it's going to be safe, we'll miss you.
But you can, if you want, you could join virtually. We are going to have a live event show on Saturday, live from the finishers
before
event.
Brian calls in, this is just a virtual thing we're doing for people. You cannot claim it that way. So
no, you cannot claim the event.
Before we get Signal calling us and yelling at us, you cannot claim it. This is just for fun.
No, it's just for you to sort of peek in on, see what's going on. And we're gonna have our pretty much we're gonna have our Challenge Talk crew are gonna host it since they both won't be able to make it, and we're gonna call in a sense. We're gonna use our phones, and we're gonna be there on our mobiles and join the show that way, and we will be able to report from the event, and we'll get to watch all of the new finishers. They get to sign the front of the giant board, and Marcellus and we get to sign the back of the board for the first time.
We will be
Yes.
resplendent in our blue shirts.
We will
There
be
you go.
very resplendent in our new shirts.
I am jealous. I will admit. I do want one of those blue shirts.
Yeah, it's definitely coveted that night, because if you're wearing as Marcellus and I'll be wearing our blue shirts, we will be, it's like wearing an Olympic medal on. It's just exactly like wearing an Olympic medal, don't you think?
Kind of,
Same
yeah.
same level of effort, obviously.
Exactly. And so, like when you win an Olympic medal, at least until you get home, when you're in the event, you wear it. I mean, you wear it around, you show people, and that's what we do. We wear our number proudly, and we get to show everybody, and we get to talk about it. So we're gonna share that excitement and joy with everybody who's there. It's fun to see the different numbers of people and when they finished, and talk about, you can talk about the craziness of some of the counties. And I know Marcellus and I have some crazy stories of places we went, and a lot of windshield time. Stephanie will be there. There's another reason why you need to come see Action Trinity. She is going to be at Texas Challenge all the way. She can't come all the way from Amityville, New York. I mean, if she comes all the way down here, nobody has an excuse, right? Come on, everybody can make a trip.
Now, Gary, we're going to try to broadcast what we can from it, but just to be clear for people too, we're not doing an 8-hour podcast again. People are getting accustomed to that. We're not doing that again. But as much as we can share with people that aren't able to come, we're going to try to get on and share it, and it'll be on the same channel as always, and so people can kind of tune in, right?
Yep, absolutely. It'll be about an hour, and
it'll be the next best thing to be in there.
See, Kate's got her number. She's number 90. She's got a good number. That's a quality number, Kate. That's a good number.
And 228 says hi back to you, Kate.
Yeah, he's 228. I'm 223, so we're close. We're in that same grouping.
I think I'm going to be number 500.
We passed 254, which we won't get into that tonight. We'll talk about that Saturday. But there was a drawing actually to get the 254, since there's 254 counties. A lot of people wanted the 254 number, and anyway, that was settled by lottery, and so I think everybody was pretty happy with that. So, and then the last item I want to mention is the crazy trackable. This is things crazy. So I'll tell you guys what my plan is. It is now up to, hang on, here's the number, 15,744. It might have gone up since I last checked it a few minutes ago, that are watching this listing. Now, do you have any idea? Do these people have any inkling of what's going to happen when you're watching something that has that many people? Anytime anybody logs that, you're going to get an email.
I don't have the patience to remove 15,000 logs, much less, everyone logging their thing. Yeah, no.
That's like that annoying reply all message at work. And then somebody keeps replying all, and it's to everybody, and you just keep getting it over and over, and it just cascades.
And then, of course, somebody replies, don't reply all to this.
Reply all.
As they reply all.
Stop replying all. Reply all. Please stop replying all. Reply all.
And then somebody responds to them, you stop replying all. And then they start getting into a little war over it, and then server crash, and
Okay, you got to keep it on there, because my plan is to send not one. I'm planning to send 20 or 30 myself. So I'm encouraging the other listeners out there that there's
actually every time you write a note on the cache page now, it goes out to 15,000 people, right?
If everyone writes one note,
I want to write 20 notes. That's my plan.
So we should do an experiment. We should take another trackable and write a note on that cache page and see if the 15,000 people log it.
It'd be like 100 emails every 10 minutes.
And not only that, make it somebody we don't like's trackable. whose trackable do we have that we don't like? And we can put that in that that trackable page and see if 15,000 people log it.
Darren in Australia says the email servers all over the planet will be crashing. That's very true.
I hope not, but
people have become obsessed with this thing. I don't know. There was I noticed in the forums a person who's, okay, we've all been the newbie, right? Before. Well, this person said, "Oh, I logged the trackable." And it's not there's a whole grouping. I mean, there these large groupings of people. There's a whole grouping of people who thought they logged it through their phone, because apparently the app on the phone makes you think that you just did, even though you didn't. There's that grouping. There's a whole other grouping though that are doing other things that think that that's it. And then there's this one poor person who actually logged the number behind me. Where is it? Back here. They logged that number and said they had logged the Mars trackable. And when I started looking at that, I thought, how did they do that? And I go, oh, they saw this number behind me on the show when we did the show with Dr. Beagle of the Jet Propulsion Laboratory. She saw the number behind me, assumed that was the trackable number. And at least with this person, they were pretty nice about it and said, no, that's not the trackable number, nor is it the correct one because it's still locked. So
yeah.
Crazy.
So you mean that isn't the number and I can't log it to log the Mars trackable?
Yeah. No, you can log this one anytime you want.
But it's not the Mars trackable. And I think I've already logged it.
You probably logged it.
Probably once or twice.
Odds are good. Though the goods are odd.
Yeah, there you go. All right. Let's get into this show. So Marcellus was with us. I went back and looked. Marcellus, it was February 24th, 2019. Does it seem like it's been that long since? It was actually 100 shows ago. It was show 137.
The answer to that question is yes and no. On a certain level, I can't believe it was yesterday. On another level, I'm pretty sure an entire decade has passed in the last year.
Boy, it feels that way, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
It has drug on quite a bit.
Yeah, it has been, and I know everybody's had, at least I know I have. We won't get into it tonight, but I've had very varying mixed emotions and, all sorts of various things. In that,
I barely noticed it happening.
Didn't you? Okay. In the past year.
Yeah.
I have, it's been, and I've been fortunate. I've worked from home pretty much ever since March. In fact, I got stuff up at work I need to go get. Did I leave? I think I left a sandwich on my desk. I wonder.
It's still good.
I just thought about that. I need to go up there. So I haven't been in the office.
Was it egg salad?
It was. It was egg salad. It really was.
Wait, you can't throw away perfectly good food. You might as well just at least try it.
Yeah. So I probably need to race up there and grab that and bring it home. But anyway,
it's probably developed things that can fight COVID at this point.
Probably.
You may have the cure. We don't even know.
At least penicillin, right? So we'll form that. So anyway, it has been a year, or 2 years, 2019. So it's been 2 years. And see, Case, best casting year. Yeah,
it's been very different for everybody. Somebody have had their best caching years. Some people didn't cache. It's been completely different for everybody.
Oh yeah, no. I've mentioned this to people. I probably have gotten more counties in the last year because of the pandemic than I would have if there was no pandemic.
Right.
Because I originally had, like I said, I originally had plans to go up to Washington to the 20th anniversary in Geo Woodstock, and I was planning to go to Mingo Madness, and maybe I would have done one other thing. But when all this happened, all I could think is, you know what? I put myself in a little bubble moving at high speed, and I do not come near another human being
Right.
unless I have to use a bathroom somewhere.
Yeah.
And this could probably work. So the second the second Austin let up on things, I
Yeah.
was off like a shot.
Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah. You have found a lot. Well, that's what we're going to talk about some of that tonight. I do
Yeah.
want to mention or want to ask you a couple things, and then we'll kind of get into
Sure.
some of the county experiences you've had recently and talk a little bit about that. But I do want to talk a little, you've been doing the blog with a B for a couple of years now, right?
Yeah. I
Couple
think I
years.
started in August 2019, I think, or was it 2018? No, August 2018.
2018, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So been a little while, and you've kept that up, pretty well. I know you're a little behind on counties, but that's okay. I've enjoyed reading the various ones, and I kind of went back and did some research prep for tonight as I was kind of a little bit of walk back in time. A little bit it was kind of fun reading some of your blogs from back over the past years. Yeah, they've been great. But I do want to ask you something.
Sure.
Your Geocaching While Black is such a great name for it. And you put the comment is I geocache, I'm black. Let's see how they mix. So my question to you, my friend, is
Mm-hmm.
do you have an answer to that question, or is it still too early to say?
I don't think it's too early.
Okay.
I think the answer is yes. I have no lean or hesitancy saying that.
Okay.
Yes, there are some things out there that make it a little more difficult.
Right.
But on the whole, I don't see why it can't.
Mm-hmm.
I had questions when I started, because here's the thing: when I first heard of geocaching, I first heard of geocaching in 2001, and I originally thought to myself, why would anybody want to travel to the middle of nowhere to find boxes?
Right.
And back then, there were several reasons why I, didn't think it was a good idea. One, I'm not normally a hiking, camping, person. So getting out in the middle of nowhere just doesn't seem to do it for me. And back then, GPSs were super expensive. And so why am I going to buy this thing for $600
Right.
that I'm only going to use at 100 places in the country? But I'll also admit one of the reasons is because I was a little worried that once I start getting into rural areas, places where, it can get a little rough out there, even for, no matter what your race. But, I won't lie. I was a little worried about what would happen if I was in some county that had 1,000 people in it where everybody knows everybody, and I'm obviously the stranger.
Yep.
This isn't 1950 or anything, but I still didn't want to be that far out.
Yes.
Now it is a lot easier.
Mm-hmm.
The world is a lot more connected.
Yes.
So being out in the middle of nowhere doesn't mean being away from everything.
That's true.
And also, I guess for lack of a better term, there is a sort of consciousness there.
Mm-hmm.
Even out in places in the middle of nowhere. I mean, minor side note, I was in Beeville in B County. I remember I was there at HEB picking up something for my stay at night. And I was there behind this dude who obviously had just come from the oil fields, because he had his he had his, his overalls, like, all tied around him, and, his
Right.
boots were muddy as heck. And there he was buying a pack of Marlboro Reds, a 6-pack of beer, and
Oh, boy.
sushi.
It's sushi. Now,
Gas station sushi.
there's a story right there.
It's like, this is the interconnected world we live in.
Yes. Yeah. And he probably didn't think twice about it.
Exactly.
Yes.
So, yes, I very much think they mix. And I am glad to be doing it. And, if nothing else, I hope I can be an example to people who may be on the fence about it.
No, that's great. Yeah. I want to get back. I got another question about that, but I noticed something in the chat room. I got to stop and interrupt this whole train of thought for a moment. I'm going to derail it for a moment. But Kate says that you were chased on a county road by a farmer on a tractor.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
You
Story
blogged
time.
about this, I believe.
I did.
Did you
Funny
really?
story.
I don't remember this
So
story.
for those of you who haven't read it or haven't heard about it, one time, Kate, Kid Wrangler,
Yep,
and Paintball Vet and
Yep.
I were doing some. I was rolling with them doing some caches up in around Granger,
okay, yeah,
and basically we stopped. We had stopped at this one cache, and we grabbed it or whatever. And I guess the property owner was like coming out on a tractor, and he kind of looked at us and was like, kind of like that universal looks like, what's going on here? And we just kept on going.
you're on the highway, or you're on the road, so you're not like you're on his property or anything.
Well, we go 528 feet, so we can still see him, and he can still see us.
Right.
And so we keep going, and so after a while, we realize, wait a minute, this guy is following us on his tractor.
Not very fast, but he's following us.
Oh, not at all. And it's like the entire thing would have been Charlie Chaplin-esque if we had just grabbed the thing and driven 528 feet, and then he's still bearing down on us, and we grab it, and then we go 528 feet, and he's still bearing down on us.
Still trying to catch up.
And then eventually, I was just like, okay, this guy's going to keep following us.
That's crazy.
So, I'm like, okay, instead of constantly running away and running away and running away, I'm just going to talk to the guy. So I get out of the car. Well, I get out of the car. I grab the cache. He's still coming. And so I go talk to him. And he's like, what are you doing on my land? And here's something I have to admit.
On his land.
Well, it wasn't his. Well, it probably wasn't his land, but I don't know anything about easements in Texas to be able to say anything. But I can fake it well.
Yeah.
And this also runs into something that is a flaw of mine. And I will be the first to admit it. I have been caching with a lot of people, and when a muggle comes along and they're like, "What are you doing?" and they're like, "Oh yeah, we're just geocaching. It's this, it's that." Right. For me, I consider this a giant secret world, kind of like Harry Potter or some crap. And so the absolute last thing I want to do, unless it's like, if it's like, kids or something, we're doing this fun thing. It's geocaching. But, there's this little part of me that never wants to justify what I'm doing.
Yeah.
As long as I'm like not on somebody's property, as long as I'm not like, doing something that's really crossing someone or putting them out or anything.
Right.
So I go back and I talk to this guy, and he's worried about us being on his land. And I'm like, well, this is it's like, this is the easement along the road, along the roadway for the power lines and stuff.
Yeah.
It's not really your land. Of course, I could have been, I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. I'm doing stuff as I go along.
Sounds good.
And he was upset. He decided that he was going to, report it into whomever. He wanted to get down to the bottom of this. So he took my picture, and I waved at him while he took it. And I guess he was going to turn it into Williamson County's agricultural unit or something. I don't know. I don't know if such a thing exists, but if it is, they probably have a picture of me wondering what I'm doing hanging around near this guy's farm.
Wow. Well, there you go. That's crazy.
So I always hate that permission battle, right? But usually I'll say scavenger hunt, and people's eyes immediately glaze over and they don't want to hear anything else. They're like afraid I'm going to try to sell them something, and they usually beeline away at that point.
That is you. I was gonna say that's usually the go-to whenever I have to say it's like, yeah, this is geocaching. Then I usually just say, oh, scavenger hunt, no big deal, and then nobody cares.
Yeah, rarely ever does somebody ask a follow-up question. But I will say, like, I was doing a scavenger hunt. I didn't realize I was in their property, and if it is their property, I'm like, I'm out. I'm sure nobody got permission. Nobody gets permission. If they say it's not my property, then I'm like, bye.
Why do you care?
Yeah. Why you? Yeah.
And
Have
you
a
are
nice day.
Yeah. Can I sell you something at this point?
Yeah. Is there something you need? Yeah.
I need to carry a pamphlet that looks like I'm selling something.
Right.
So they'll immediately run away if I, let me talk to you about whatever, and see how fast they run away from that.
Go online and find the Heaven's Gate cult info and tell them you want them to join Heaven's Gate.
What if they say, give me more info?
Coming back.
Peace. I'm out. If you're interested in a cult on the side of the road, I don't want to talk to you.
Yeah, that's
maybe I do. I don't know. That might be an interesting conversation.
Look, if you didn't join a cult on the side of the road, are you really living?
Right. I mean, everybody does that once in a while.
Yeah.
I know. I mean, I can tell you about my 20s.
Yeah. That's right.
Yeah.
Austin, it's a little weird down that way toward it, but Pizza Ninja says you're on double secret probation. You just don't know it. So,
I am. If anybody is on double secret probation, it is probably me. Actually, that's not true. I might not be on double secret probation, and the reason why is because there are a number of things that I've thought about, that I've planned, but I haven't actually done
it. Yes. That's good. Yeah.
I find that I tend to do the opposite. I don't think about them or plan them. They just happen.
They just happen. Okay.
Who needs all that thinking and planning part?
Oh, no. Okay. It's a secret. Don't tell anyone.
Nobody's listening. Go ahead.
Let's just say that there is a cache that is in New Orleans. It is a virtual cache. Okay. I would very much like to see it. I'd like to, log it for, New Orleans. But it is locked in a cemetery. Now, I haven't actually done it, but I've considered, a pair of bolt cutters wouldn't be that expensive. But I wouldn't want to do the thing myself because I would be doing something wrong. But if I found someone there and say gave them $20 to do it for me, and then they do, and then I just happened to run across something that was open,
right? Oh, but, you can come by 5 minutes later.
But then it occurred to me that I could probably find someone. No nice way to say this. I could probably find someone who lives in the area who's homeless, who probably knows a secret way in. So I could probably get to this thing if I wanted to. I'm not going to do it.
Right.
But you thought about it.
Yeah.
I've put some thought cycles into this.
Yeah, you have.
That's what you can do it doesn't make it a good idea.
But it's totally not a good idea. It is totally illegal, and there is no way that I'm going to do it.
But fun to think about.
But if I was going to do it, this is exactly how to do it.
That's the one, and that's the one. Yeah, there you go.
Exactly.
Oh wow, well, that was a great story. All right,
I'm the reason why we can't have nice things.
Let me try to get the tractor back in the field again here and working. So my follow up question, I guess, is, and then I want to switch gears and talk about some other things, but based on what you mentioned about how your feelings about how things for the most part have gone well for you. Do you feel that there's something that either we can do and I'm talking in general, not just me and Jesse, but I'm saying the geocaching community. Is there anything that we could do where how to word this so that
make
we can
caching more welcoming for everyone,
more diverse? Yeah. Is there something that you think is would be an effective way to get more people to make the community more diverse, I guess is the way to put it.
Well, that's a little harder, and I say that because it's. I think you can. I think you can open your arms.
Sure.
I don't necessarily think you can kind of force someone to come into them.
Yeah.
There are some smaller things. I mean, really, the biggest thing I think anybody can do is just to think and consider their hides.
Okay.
Because some places that people might hide things, while 90% of people might find it awesome and not care, there may be a sizable, group of people who might not like the idea of something being a certain place.
Right.
Other than that, I think more than anything, all you can really do is just be friendly and willing. I mean, the first event that I ever went to, there was, and I've mentioned this before. There's a little part of me is kind of like, and then someone very specifically, Razorback Girl, she was just, up. It's like, hey, how you doing? How's it nice? Blah blah blah. Hey, come meet people. And it was very welcoming. And even the one person who, some people find it weird that it was said, but who mentioned, the fact that, I'm a little tanner than everyone, but I shouldn't let that, shouldn't let that get in the way.
Right.
And you know what? In its own way, that was really inviting. It's like, okay, I'm a little darker than everyone. We all know that.
Yes.
And it doesn't matter. Let's go forward. So all I can say, be open and inviting, and hopefully other people will come.
Yeah. I wonder too if as some things change in our world where more people, well, especially now, more than ever, people use their phones. So like you said, there's no reason to have to go buy a GPS device. Jesse and I haven't used GPS device in years.
I'm not using one.
I mean, I haven't used one in a long time. So
I've used mine like maybe 3 times last year.
Okay, yeah. So
I have one that I won several years ago. It's never been taken out of the box.
So the fact that it's very readily available, that it's the youth of today, obviously more and more is more prevalent. The kids have GPS or have a phone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I think that it's becoming more and more available throughout across many different demographics of different.
Yeah.
Well, and the youth are also used to geolocation games, right? That's not a secret anymore.
Yeah.
Right.
Everybody has heard of. I'll probably get banned, Pokemon and all these other games that are out there. Garfield, I don't know if that's still a game or not, but it's geolocation games are not a secret anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if, as kind of time goes on, if more and more of varying demographics might be interested and have readily available to.
Oh yeah, and I think so. I mean, I think the ease of it actually is a weird double-edged sword, because easy in also means easy out.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
So
nothing invested.
Yeah,
kind of thing. Yeah.
But that also being said, I mean, and other people have said it in its own way. The pandemic has also been really good for geocaching.
Yeah. Oh, it has.
And so
a lot more people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there are a lot more people.
Yeah.
And and like I said, I'm hoping to see, more people who look like me. There's literally dozens of us now,
which is great. Dozens.
Yeah,
I know.
I was gonna say, I've exchanged some messages with a few other, with a few other Black people who geocache.
Exactly.
I know one in Atlanta. I know one in Korea. There are, we're out there.
So, kind of as the flip side of that, have you been able to bring, like as you say, more people that look like you? Have you been able to bring more people into the fold? Like, have you been able to sell that, saying like, I'm accepted? It's not a thing that's exclusionary. Is that easier for you to bring people in and say, hey, I swear it's okay. They have not run me out of the city yet. It's really a fun game. Is that a easier or harder sell for you now that you've been in the game for years if you're trying to bring new people in?
Well,
or have you even broached that with, to try to increase that?
Actually, I've actually had a few times where I've, gone for a cache and the muggle happens to be black and they wonder, like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
And that's fair. That's actually really rare.
Right.
Because, usually it's going to be someone else. But when they ask, it's like, I'm usually like, hey, this is what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I always get like, the same few questions. Is there money involved?
Right.
It's like, why do you do this? How many places have you been? Stuff like that. Because, and, little by little, as I explain it, I actually see a little bit of, thought in, people, thought going on behind people's eyes. Like, with exactly the same thoughts that I had in 2001. Why would I go out to the middle of nowhere to do this?
Right.
But this guy's doing it and he says it's safe and it's not that big a deal. Maybe.
Yeah.
I'm never there. And unfortunately, I'm never there long enough to be able to tell whether or not, someone decides they want to go do it. But maybe a couple months down the road, they're like, well, there's one of those right down there. Let's try it and see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
That was okay. And then, if they find that interesting, well, there's another one, over a few blocks that way, or there's one half a mile away, or there's one over by work, or there's one over by the store. Because that's how I really got roped into it. I find a few in my neighborhood. I find a few in the area. And then all of a sudden I look up one day and I've been doing it 100 days in a row.
Yes.
So do you think, I know you said there's nothing maybe for us to do to make it more, other than general people, you need to be more welcoming, right? Yeah. And obviously diversity is in way more forms than we're going to talk about tonight.
Yeah.
We're talking about black and white tonight, right? Because that's who's on the show. Have you, or do you think, would there be something that you or anybody else could do that would make it, I don't want to say make it more appealing, but I don't know, make it safer? Like, and I hate to sound like a salesman, right? But if you're speaking, like you said, you've talked to a few other people, other black cachers around the world. If you were trying to sell this specifically to, let's say you have met a black friend and you're like, I swear this is good. If you were trying to sell it, or if I was trying to sell it, how would we approach that? Not that you have to speak for everybody, right? I'm just saying we're trying to talk about, we're trying to get out in the open a lot of this stuff here. And
because I can't speak, because trust me, I can't speak for anyone. There's no one like me.
I'm not a spokesman for any group of anybody. However, one thing I want to do, and we've talked about cachers with disability, we talked about cachers from different regions and everything before. And one of the things you always want to ask is, anybody that's in any specific group, what do you think would have gotten you into the game earlier? Or your other friends that are facing things that you are the same, obstacles that you would be facing, how would you approach that?
Actually, strangely enough, probably the biggest thing that I would do if I was going to try to, and it's kind of a cheat because, I wouldn't be attempting to rope them in specifically.
We're geocachers, we cheat. It's okay.
Oh yeah. Sometimes you got to know when to do that. I would probably say, hey, this is a great thing to do with kids.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, it's inexpensive. It's fun.
Yep.
You can find things to do all around where you are. You can often find little side things to do in places you already go.
Right.
And maybe if you really want to, this can justify maybe going out and doing something a little different. let's,
Mhm.
one can only go to a park so many times. Let's
True.
see about maybe doing something on the edges of town or
Right.
something in a part of town you don't normally go to.
Yeah.
I would probably, tell, kind of, start selling people, well, parents especially, on doing things with their kids.
That's good.
Um,
Yeah.
for people who don't have kids, um, I would probably not, necessarily, push on the travel thing, but I would definitely push on the inexpensive thing. It's inexpensive, it's simple, it's something that you can do in 15, 20 minutes, It's like, hey, you're on your way back from work. Okay, you make a little side jaunt over to
Right.
here for a half hour and
Mhm.
find a thing. And it's something that breaks up the monotony of the day.
Yeah.
Because most people, let's face it, not in the age of COVID right this second, but most people are basically go to work, go home.
Yeah.
Or go to work, run an errand, go home,
Yeah.
or something like that. Anything that kind of breaks that up a little bit
Right.
is good for everyone.
I agree. Yeah.
So
we all agree.
that would be one of the biggest things.
Yeah. And like you said, there's so many times when the kids, instead of the kid, plopping in front of the TV and playing video games all day, or or getting on their phone and texting their friends all day, that's something really for as a family, whatever size family they have,
Oh, exactly.
or single parent who has kids, and they like you said, maybe go to the next town over and go to that park. There are probably caches in that park, or
Mhm.
like you said, there's adventure labs that
Exactly.
are attached to historical things. I know for our family, we always big history fans, so we would always go look for historical type items, because plus the kids actually were very interested as well. They'd read books about places that we would end up going, and so I think you're right. And so
also, since you're the one who drives,
right.
because there's been so many times where I've told my daughters, is like, hey, we're gonna go get a geocache. It's like, where
Yeah.
are we going? I don't know yet. We're gonna find out when we get there.
There you go.
Exactly.
Perfect.
So they see something interesting and they run around for a bit, and I find the thing. And my older daughter, now she's getting old enough to where she doesn't want to do it, but my younger daughter, she still wants in. So
Still interested. Yeah.
yeah, and she will totally climb trees for me, and that is a plus
There you go.
because I am not a tree climber in any
Right.
sense of the word. So yeah, that would definitely be the biggest angle I would use.
Good team effort. Yeah. Well, that's for getting somebody into the game, but somebody like yourself, I want to talk to you about this screen right here.
Okay.
This isn't somebody who is dabbling
Oh, yeah.
in geocaching. This is somebody who's in past the waiters, as they say.
Yeah, I kind of am.
And for some of our audio listeners,
Yes.
what Gary is showing is a county map. I'm assuming this is from my geocaching profile, maybe?
No, this is
Or
from
just a
his
personal made one.
Geocaching
Nope,
While
that would-
Black. Yeah, it's
that
from the
would be
blog.
me.
No, I know that. But I mean,
Oh,
where
yeah.
did you get the map from?
Oh yeah, no, yes, that is the map from the site.
Okay.
Actually, full disclosure, there's a county in Oklahoma that I forgot to fill in, and I figured I'd get back to it at some point. So there should actually be one more county in there that
This part over in the east part or the west part?
But,
oh no, yeah, that part, because
Okay.
yeah, I have not been to the Oklahoma. Well, I have not been through the Oklahoma Panhandle yet.
Yeah, you've got a few in the Panhandle area. You got
emphasis.
one very distinct Kansas county that is you'll have to come back to. Not a big deal, but it's kind of funny. It's you surrounded that poor county and never made it in there.
Well, it happened by total accident. When I originally was up there, my original plan was to go down through Kansas there, and then grab the 3 Oklahoma Panhandle counties.
Right.
And then I realized if I rejiggered my route, instead of getting those, I could get a whole bunch more counties coming back down through Oklahoma. And instead of having to drive down through the Texas Panhandle and Amarillo and all that for like 8 or 9 hours,
right,
I could basically start just near Dallas and only have a 5-hour trip home and come away with more counties.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'm totally down for that. So
that's awesome.
I'm hoping that I can go fix that hole, because believe me, it taunts me every time I look at it.
Look at that. There's a hole right now. Okay. But
that is an impressive number of counties. But have you thought about really stepping up your game and writing your name in counties? I'm just saying, it could be done on the map.
Yeah, you could.
It's like a reverse geo art. You can make art out of the county map.
That's possible, but that requires a lot more pre-planning than I'm willing to put into it.
That's a lot of planning.
Yeah,
that's an A started here. You could do an Atreides thing over this way, maybe.
And also, may I also say, I have that hole right there in Arkansas.
Yes.
Which also kind of like, bugs me a bit, but it's for a really good reason. When I got through there, the weather was really, really, really bad. So I decided at that point, I have 5 counties I was going to do, and I'm just going to say, forget those counties, and I'm just going to start heading back toward home. And I ended up passing through 2 of the counties I was going to axe anyway.
Right.
So, I'm already here. I might as well. So those 3 little counties, they irk me, but those were for a good cause. Those are for good reason. I can live with that.
Well, and you also have a good reason why this little section of Louisiana is not done yet. You told us before the show.
Yes.
You have a friend. Tell everybody about that one real quick.
Yes. One of my best buds. He loves Louisiana and he loves driving. And so when I've been on when I was doing most of southern Louisiana, he did the driving, which was great. And literally my job is to navigate for him. Just okay, we're going to take this road to this place. And he loves going to these little small towns anyway. So it's just like synergy. And so
hard to beat that.
Yeah. So when we're both vaccinated, we are going to finish Louisiana.
That's awesome.
Though, also, side note, half the reason he loves going is because there is a place in Lafayette, Louisiana called Kirk's You Need a Butcher. And not only do they make his favorite cracklins of anywhere in the planet, because he's obsessed with cracklins, but they're also the only place I've ever seen that makes chicken cracklins.
Oh, interesting.
And oh my God, they are so good.
That would be good. Yes.
So pretty much it's contractually obligated. Anytime I go to Louisiana, I got to stop at Kirk's You Need a Butcher. And anytime I go with him, we got to stop there. And the Louisiana Star is in Lafayette, I believe.
Okay, right.
So one of these days, I'm going to go do that. And I'm probably going to completely feed myself for a couple of days on chicken cracklins.
Right. Wow. What's a cracklin?
We need to have a quick culinary lesson.
Wow. Pizza Ninja. We need some culinary. We got to help
To sum up, cracklins are basically usually pork, but there's a little bit of pork with a little bit of skin. Yes. And you dip it in a fryer and you get it really hot. And basically for about 8 hours or so, it's really, the meat is really fried and the skin is really crisp and crunchy.
Yes.
It's almost like, I don't know, like a potato chip made out of pork skin. And it sounds terrible.
Lori wants to go.
But it's freaking delicious.
Oh, I love cracklins. Cracklins too are different. If people buy pork rinds, the I mean, I know there's nothing wrong with a pork rind, but
Oh, I can't stand pork rinds. I won't. Even
right. But it's different. Like you said, there's
I would think nothing wrong with it. I mean, if you're fond of heart attacks, you should eat them every day. But
yeah,
we'll
cracklins are a little deeper into the skin, as it were, than a pork rind. So you're getting a little bit. Yeah, there you go. Direwolf said it good. It's like a meaty pork rind. That's a good way to put it.
Kind of.
It's got a little extra to it. It's got a little extra bone. It's a bonus pork rind.
Bonus pork rind.
And if you really want to get really culinary, the reason why cracklins were created were basically as a way to preserve meat.
Yeah.
So you can basically prepare your cracklins, fry up a batch, store them, and then when you're ready to eat them, you basically refry them.
Oh, okay.
So you can do that, but I guarantee if I pick up a half a pound of frickin' cracklins, of chicken cracklins,
it is keto.
They're not going to last that long.
No,
they're just not.
And I've had a little bit of that, and people have. I think you're going to start seeing it more often. I don't know, Marcellus, if you've seen it, but they're starting to make, instead of some of these specialty shops, I think may start seeing more of the chicken where the skins are, and
I'm hoping.
Yeah.
There's a place out in Bastrop that does pork cracklins.
Oh,
and they're not bad. They're not the greatest, but
it's not Lafayette.
All you've got around here.
Yeah.
If they start doing chicken, I would probably start doing regular pilgrimages to Bastrop.
Regular trips.
Which is a terrible thought, because I don't want to make regular trips to Bastrop. It's a terrible
Bastrop's a pretty area.
It's okay.
So it was mentioned earlier, and the chat room's going crazy, but Just Finding Our Way was asking, what's the deal with Arizona, and why aren't you going to Arizona?
Okay.
Boy, they're really demanding tonight.
All right.
Step up your game. What's wrong with you?
Yeah, what's wrong with you? I think that's impressive.
Well, okay, first of all, I've dipped into Arizona. I've gotten a cache there. But the primary reason I have avoided Arizona is because up to this point, especially for Arizona has been a COVID-infested dystopian nightmare.
Yeah, it is. It's
a
pandemic central.
And if there's anything I don't like COVID. I don't like infestations. I don't like nightmares, and I prefer my dystopias to stay in my fiction.
There you go.
So I am waiting till I'm vaccinated. Yeah. And then I am going to murder Arizona, because it's only got 15 counties. They're spread out as all get out, but
they are. It's a very interesting state.
In fact, this entire winter has been difficult because of that, because I thought for my trips, I'm going to stay south where it's not going to get cold.
Yeah.
And so I'm looking at the map and I'm thinking Arizona, COVID infested dystopian nightmare. But then I'm looking, okay, can't go to that part of Louisiana because I made a promise.
Yep.
Mississippi. If there's anywhere in the world I'm reticent about going, it's Mississippi. But I keep dipping my toe into Mississippi over and over again. And I was going to make a trip to Mississippi and do some serious counties. And then somebody pointed out, being in rural areas and somewhere red like Mississippi, right before the inauguration on MLK weekend, that might not be the best time to do this. And I thought about it and I realized they might be right.
Yeah. So I heard there was some tension in some places.
A poquito, just a little, mostly city level stuff. They talk about this at their city councils, but other than that, not that huge of a deal.
Right.
So I'm thinking I'm gonna have to go to Mississippi eventually. Well, I've already been to Mississippi, but I'm gonna start doing Mississippi eventually. I'm thinking I'm gonna leave that for maybe next winter.
Okay.
because now that it's beginning to like show some signs of being spring again, maybe
Yes,
kind of in the near future,
we're close. We're
I'm
getting
going to be
close.
looking northward because
Colorado happens to be north. I'm just going to throw that out there.
don't think I haven't thought about it.
Colorado.
I already have planned to get the one on the top of Mount Evans because because A, it's a 14er, and B, they have a road that goes like almost all the way up to the top of it, and I am not climbing that thing.
There's that one, and there's there's a couple that what's the one that
So many you can't even. We couldn't get into them today, but
you can drive really?
no, there's a lot of them where you can cheat the DT.
Oh, okay.
Because there's two ways you can, like Pikes Peak. You can hike Pikes Peak.
Yeah, I was gonna say Pikes
Most
Peak.
people drive it.
Yeah,
you can hike
drive the
Pikes
top.
Peak. I will not be hiking Pikes Peak. I am not that guy. I am just
Look,
plain
when
not.
you start coming to Colorado, let me know. I know all the secrets. We can get you all those ones that you want to get without hiking 5 days straight.
There you go.
I am totally down. I am totally interested in your newsletter, sir.
There you go.
I want to subscribe to that one.
Indeed.
Yes.
Actually, where I really want to go, I really want to go to Death Valley.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah.
I kind of that was actually something I kind of wanted to do in the winter because I don't really want to go to, as you can imagine, I don't want to go to Death Valley in the summer.
No.
That sounds like a terrible idea.
It is called Death Valley.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
It's a little warm there.
again, that entire death thing, that's no bueno.
But that's a pretty good set of caches for a challenge. If you go to Mount Evans and go to Death Valley, that's about as extreme difference as you can have altitude and still be in the contiguous United States.
Oh yeah.
Death Valley right now would be good. It's 69 degrees there.
Death Valley right now would be wonderful.
It'd be perfect. But that's
and I had thought about it, except I would have to cross Arizona to get there.
That's true, and we don't want to do that right now. We're almost there.
Yes,
We're
almost there.
We're almost there.
Everybody around me is getting vaccinated, and I just haven't gotten an appointment yet.
I haven't either. I don't know what you got to do to get an appointment, but I can't seem to get one.
My best friend drove from here to Odessa to get one.
Oh, Curious KDB said she went to Death Valley in October. I bet it was. October would be a great time.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not sure who you have to bribe right now to get a.
I don't think it's a bribery thing. I think it's just everybody wants one.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's just you're fighting against everybody else who wants one. That's why my friend went to Odessa, because apparently that area there are a lot of people who aren't interested in getting vaccinated for various reasons.
Right.
So they have a lot more supply than other places.
Well, and it's very industry dependent too, right? It depends on where you work. If you're working in a hospital or with kids, you're probably going to get it faster than somebody that sits behind a computer screen.
Yeah, and I don't want to jump in front of those people.
Nobody's suggesting that, right?
Yeah,
but
teachers. I mean, there's a whole list of people ahead of me, but I'm just saying that, once we get through that and I get to the general population, I'd kind of like to be part of that. So Ryan is saying he is lobbying for Kansas, Marcellus. So what are your thoughts about Kansas?
My thoughts about Kansas is that I have thought very deeply about it, and I'm already planning.
They discussed having
definitely want to do more of Kansas. One of the things I was thinking, since I was thinking about, since I was already planning to do the Oklahoma Panhandle and that little southwesterly part of Kansas and that hole that just haunts me. Yeah. I'm already planning on that and dipping into Colorado too. But I'm also, strangely enough, I have had a weird little question about, I don't know. I remember I was looking at Kansas City, and at some point I started looking at St. Louis,
Yeah.
And it made me start thinking about, again, because I spend a little time thinking about, administrative, jurisdictions in these counties and how they work, and how some of them are independent cities. And
Oh,
I don't
okay.
believe Kansas City is an independent city,
Okay.
but the St. Louis had me questioning whether or not it was. And so I started doing research around Kansas City. And then I started creating a plan of attack, like how I'm going to do this entire area.
Huh,
And then I
yeah.
remember, wait a minute, I'm not even planning that yet. But yes, Kansas is kind of on my mind. The other thing that I really kind of want to do, especially once I get to the point where I feel comfortable flying, I actually want to do something like, say, fly into Boston, drive
Oh,
up to the top of Maine, and
yeah.
just start doing the Northeast,
Right.
because I'm pretty sure I could do the entire Northeast in 2 or 3 long weekends.
Right. Right. Well, true. And that's one thing too that brings me to another question I had, and I guess I I don't know if I asked this before or and we've talked. I mean, like I said, we've spent a little time in Round Rock, and when you came through Greenville, we had lunch together. And I don't know if I ever asked you, but why you chose courthouses for your blog. It's not your whole blog, but
Yeah.
a good portion of the blog is your
Yeah.
county courthouses. I mean, they are unique. I understand.
True. It actually comes from something from long ago.
Okay.
A long time ago, I just thought to myself, it would be really interesting to visit every county courthouse in the state of Texas.
Right.
And, I figured, that's way too much work. It's not really that important. And so I just kind of put it off to the side. And once I started doing counties, I figured I'm already going to be there.
Yeah.
So what the heck? I'll go see these courthouses. And, some of them are nice and pretty, and they also offer, serve as a side proof, because there are people who are armchair cashers who will say they've done things that they haven't.
Right.
And I guarantee nobody's ever going to question that with me.
Right.
It's like, have you really been there? Yes.
Yes.
In fact, this is the county courthouse. They're at the center of the county.
Here's my picture of it.
Exactly. And so I just sort of, did it for Texas. And then once I was done with Texas, I'm like, well, I've already been to 254 of these.
Might as well keep going.
What the heck? I might as well just keep going with it. It's become a theme at this point. I think people would be disappointed if I, decided I was going to stop, photographing courthouses and just grab, no. And then everybody, has an uproar and how dare you? We've become used to these courthouses. What are we going to do if you don't show us the center of administration in these places? We will literally wither away.
And
So
there are, and Texas is fascinating. I know other states I'm sure are equally fascinating, but just the ones that I've been experiencing, also been able to read through your blog. It is interesting that there are some good looking county courthouses. I will say,
Indeed.
Hunt County. It's a nice looking building, my friend, and you
Hunt
pointed
County
that out.
is not a terrible looking courthouse.
Not bad at all. It's been burned down a few times, and we're on our
And that's like what, your
one.
7th courthouse or something like that?
7, yeah.
It's like, how the hell do you lose that many?
Yeah, what happened to cause there to be 8 or 7 courthouses?
I know.
But
I mean, seriously, you would think they would put some guys on guard around the courthouse just to make sure that nobody does anything crazy, like, do something terrible to the courthouse. Now,
there are a few, and I don't really want to berate some of these counties, but oh my gosh, they are terrible buildings. And it's like, how is this?
I downright will. What is it? Oh my God. There's a couple up in East Texas that are really bad. I believe Morris County is, I believe, Dangerfield. Oh my God, that place
Oh,
looks like it was just like a pre-constructed building. It's like, oh, well, we got to throw up a courthouse. Well, let's go over to Bob's used, warehouse supplies
it is bad.
and get some corrugated metal and
Yeah.
throw something up. Um,
Yeah, Denton County is interesting because it also has. We've been to that one. I think that one has an
Denton.
earth cache. So
Denton is lovely, and yeah, they have an earth cache right there on the square, right there on the courthouse. May I also say, I give kudos to Denton County in my blog post about it because they have the traditional sort of Confederate monument, which like okay. And then they added on a nice little thing to it. It's like, this was from a time where people felt differently. This is not how we feel today.
Right.
Denton is one people, basically something kind of like that. I'm like, okay, I don't think I've ever seen anybody, do something like that.
Right.
So
sort of
kudos to Denton.
Yeah.
Well, it's an interesting way to acknowledge the past without either condoning it or brushing it under the rug. Right? Yeah.
It happened.
Yeah.
Oh,
and
wait a minute.
We're aware.
And I feel bad about this. It's the courthouse. Yes, Mason County Courthouse.
Oh yeah.
That was the one that it just burned down like a few weeks ago.
Okay.
And I feel really bad about that. But one of the things that it had that I found interesting is that a lot of courthouses will have listings of people who died in wars.
Right.
Obviously, it's a common thing. So World War II, Korea, blah, blah, blah. And it's very common for places to have listings of Confederate dead. That doesn't bother me all that much because, those were people who lived in the county who died.
Right.
So, okay. No, Mason County took it a step further. They literally have everyone who died in every war, no matter what side they were on. So, it's like, of course they have, Korea, Vietnam, World War II.
Right.
They have the Spanish-American War. They have the Mexican War. They have Confederate and Union dead.
Oh, okay.
They have, I think, there's one or two people there who served in the War of 1812.
Oh, wow.
So I'm like, okay, you know what? I literally have zero qualms about that.
You list everybody.
Everybody.
Yeah. Yeah. So, all right, we're rolling along tonight. I got a couple more things.
Of course.
I wanted to cover. One was there was actually a blog post mentioned Memphis Mafia.
What? No way.
Yes, by name when he asked you about your consecutive day streak.
You're kind of on a little bit of a streak, I think.
Yes,
It was a blog
a little
post.
bit of a streak.
Yeah,
and in fact, I am still on that streak.
It's incredible.
Today is 995.
Yes, 995 straight days of finding a geocache.
In case you're not aware, that's a little bit insane.
Well, yeah, but here's also the other thing. That doesn't even begin to bring me into competition in this state.
Well, true. Yeah, you had to get about 10 years to catch drives.
Yeah,
11 years. I think he went 11 years.
41 is on 4,000 days, I think.
Yeah, but still.
Pass.
Yeah.
I'm not interested in that even a little bit.
So
kudos to you for sticking with that. I don't even want to do a 10th of that. I didn't make a 10th of that. I was not interested in 400 days. We did our requisite year.
They
so
don't
take it off the list.
And they don't let you do any streaks that are longer than 365 days now.
I know. Yeah.
There's, I believe, if I remember correctly, right outside of Albuquerque, or right on the edges of Albuquerque, there is a series of those where it's here's one for 100. Here's a 100-day challenge. Right. 200, 300. I
Mhm.
think it goes out to like 1,400.
Right. It was probably pre-moratorium, Jesse.
Yeah.
Oh,
It would
yeah.
have to be because 365 is the limit now. So
Or it's
And
366 or 365?
365.
365.
365. Okay. They won't even let you do a leap year challenge, I guess, huh?
And I couldn't go after them because they're all in these undeveloped desert areas where you need a 4x4. But it's right at the edge of where subdivisions are being built.
Oh.
So, and I didn't know about, I didn't read the cache properly to know that you needed a 4x4. So I drove into this subdivision, and then I drove kind of like around this subdivision, and there are these roads that are really, kind of chalky, and then
yeah.
there's like workmen who are like putting stuff up, and it's like,
Right.
okay, and then I turn off to where it starts, and it's
Driving
nothing
by.
but desert.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, no.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sometimes you just
I
have
do
to pass
try.
on some of those caches. You
Yeah.
can't, unfortunately, you can't get them all. Even though we all try, you can't get them all.
But he's gonna try.
So
Wow.
what do you think? Obviously, there's no way to know this.
Mhm.
Do you think there is a distinct end to your streak one day, or you're just going to wait until you can't?
Distinct? I don't know if there's going to be a distinct. And I don't know if there's going to be a day where I just decide, you know what, I'm just not going to do this anymore. As long as I have challenges, I will probably not be that way, because even if I decided someday, I don't want to do this today, I can always log a challenge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so if I had like a couple of days where I just wasn't feeling it, yeah, I log a challenge, and I get back on it. At this point, I don't know when I will end, because this is what I do. This is literally what I do.
This is my life now.
And the other thing is, Texas being the cache-rich place it is, there's tons of caches in the area that I haven't even begun to touch. I mean, what is it? Travis County has a little over 2,500 caches. Next door, Williamson County has a little more than that.
Yeah, Williamson.
So these two together is 5,000. And then look at other places in the state. San Antonio has like 4,000.
Yep.
Houston has 6,000. Dallas, Fort Worth together have like 8,000.
Right.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So there is no shortage of caches. There may sometimes be a shortage of easy caches really close to me.
Right.
But there is no shortage of caches. So I'm not going to run out of stuff to find, probably.
Yeah. There's a good portion of, there's still go, even around, and I know you've probably found a lot of them, but there are still, I know my experiences of going through Williamson and Travis and a lot of those counties, there are a lot of park and grabs that you could get in a pinch.
Yeah. And I've picked up so much of that low-hanging fruit. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
And things are still getting, obviously new things crop up, I almost jumped for joy that Austin Parks and Recreation decided to set up a 50 cache series in various parks, and they're all like, super easy.
Right.
So it's like, okay, that's at least 50 caches that are going to be easy to find. So I'll work with that.
Yeah.
And in between there, I try to solve some puzzles and, figure out some things, which
prepping, little thinking ahead.
Yeah. It's like, it's almost like some of this has to be planned or something,
Yeah.
If only I was a thinker.
Yeah.
And could prepare for all this.
Exactly.
That's right.
Exactly.
Oh man, that's great. Well, we are kind of at the end of our time. Again, thank you, Marcellus. You've been
always.
And a great time, and always enjoy our talks. Even though
I don't know why. I'm literally the most terrible guest you could.
No, you're not.
I am the worst.
No, you are great. People love to hear your stories, and we talk mostly on the course of the show, of course, the geocaching show, but if you ever get Marcellus, come to Texas Challenge. Take Marcellus by the hand to the side, in socially distanced from him, I guess, a little bit right now, and ask him some great nerdy type things, like things about Dune coming out in the fall, or other varying
Timothy Chalamet is going to be amazing.
varying conversations that we can have, and obviously talk geocaching too. But
I guess I could tell you some stuff.
yeah, you do.
Okay, wait a minute. Quick, fun, stupid story. So I am in, I believe it was Cherokee County, Oklahoma.
Okay.
I think. So it's 2:30 in the. It's like 2 in the morning, and I photographed the courthouse, and I'm going to a cache. I go to this little town outside of there, and there's supposed to be this cache, this church. I'm driving on the way. I pass by the local gas station of this tiny town. Then I noticed there's a couple of sheriff's deputies sitting there. I go over, but I keep going. I go to the church. I go pull a thing, and go looking around the church for a thing. And then all of a sudden, I noticed the deputies, truck, pull up. I'm like, okay, well,
here we go.
I do kind of stand out because it's like, I'm some random dude in this tiny town in a car with Washington plates at like 1:30, 2 in the morning.
That make it even, yeah.
So I'm like, okay, yeah, let me go talk to these guys.
At a church that's not open right now.
So I'm like, I don't even, normally I try to get around stuff, but this time I didn't even try to hide it. There's no way. So I'm like, yeah, I'm here geocaching. He's like, is there any money in that? It's like, no money. It's like, where are you up from? Yeah, I came up from Austin, Texas. It's like, you came from Austin for this? It's like, yeah, so I'm like, okay. And I tell him that there's supposed to be a thing right over by this church, and I'm still looking for it. It's like, okay, well, while you do that, let me see your license, and so I can run and make sure you're okay. Nothing weird or anything.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, okay, fine.
Here you go.
I go to the church. I look for the thing. I don't find it.
Oh no, that's the worst part.
So I've gone through this for nothing. I go back. He says, well, I ran your license, and it shows that you have a speeding ticket in New Mexico.
Oh, wow.
I'm like, okay, yes, I do. I do have a speeding ticket in Alamogordo, New Mexico. That is my shame, perhaps my sin.
But this isn't New Mexico.
This is not New Mexico. And he says to me, well, I don't think the state of Oklahoma is going to bother extraditing you to New Mexico for a ticket. So here's your license. You're free to go.
Wow.
That's funny.
Yeah. Probably not worth their effort right now.
Not so much. No. Ticket. And the stupid thing is, I go to the next location. I can't find it. I go to the next location. I can't find it.
Wow.
I end up going on some crazy freaking red dirt road and realize this is like 2 in the morning.
Right.
Some red dirt road to solve a quick unknown so that I can find a cache. And yeah, I'm never going back to that county. It ain't happening.
That county is checked off.
It is
done. Yeah. Yeah. That's crazy. So
the pressure is on that the cache is, of course, not going to be there.
Yeah, of course. That's the worst part.
Yeah. I swear there's this thing over here. Come look. Oh no, it's not. It's not there.
No, it's not there.
And it's probably totally there. And it's probably just one little thing that I missed.
Yeah.
It's always like that. I mean,
2 in the morning.
If it's a nano, hey, no big deal. I can spot a nano at 10 yards at this point in my life.
Right.
But it's probably like a flat magnet that's grandfathered from 15 years ago.
Exactly.
On one piece of thing. And I just didn't look around the right corner to find the right piece of thing.
Yeah. All right. Well, this has been awesome. Jesse, you want to last thought real quick, and then we'll see everybody on Saturday.
Yeah, luckily we get to hang out coming a week, so that's going to be fun.
Yeah.
But I'm really curious to see how long you can keep this crazy, insane streak going. And people do streaks, right? Like even in Texas, streaks they're pretty common. There's some long ones. I don't think that's as impressive as the fact that you're doing streaks and counties and hitting the courthouses and blogging about them. So like
and blogging about
glutton for punishment. You know, it's not enough to do one of the things. You want to really just layer it in there and really just
photos. Yeah,
but you have fun doing it, right?
Well,
the day you stop is the day it becomes work. That's what needs to be over.
One thing I'll say about writing the blog. There are some people who wonder why it is that I can write so much or how it is I can write so much. And I will tell you this. I don't think I write enough.
Okay.
I feel that, when I started, I was like, this is all brand new and I'm seeing new stuff and things and yadas and hey-hays. And I got a million things that I've got going through my head. And now I have unfortunately gotten a little more efficient at what I'm doing now.
Yeah.
So I'm like, more focused on here's the courthouse, here's the cache, next county. And I don't spend as much time just sort of, wandering around, catching a little local color, getting for the place. And that kind of makes me sad. And so one day I hope this could be like, in my crazy lottery winning dream, I hope that I could just like say, do like 8 to 10 counties a day.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And all I do is like go around and I wander around for a little bit and see things and nodes and the life and the thing and people living. And then I go on to the next county. And then at the end of that, I go somewhere for the night where I can start writing about all this stuff.
Right.
And I'll have, tons of notes about, and tons of memories about little things where people are living and what people are doing or what people have done around this courthouse or what they're doing on the square or whatever. So, gosh darn my freaking efficiency. It's killing my writing process.
There you go. Yeah. There's a lot of history. There's a lot of history that
enjoyable activity 1,000 times in becomes a little repetitive.
I know. I don't know what you're talking about because each and every cache is exactly the same and completely and utterly unique in every way.
There you go.
There you go.
That's a man coming up on 1,000. This is awesome. But
don't trust me. I'm the king of lies. So many lampposts.
So many camo pill bottles.
They're easy, and I can just bing, bang, boom, and Bob's your uncle.
Yes.
I love a lamppost cache when I'm out on the road.
They have their place for sure.
They do.
Leslie says she likes
Leslie.
Always enjoy. I agree, Leslie. And looking forward to seeing you guys here in a couple days. We're only a couple days away, so very exciting. Yeah, we're that close to it, and we're very excited. So anyway, again, thanks everybody. Hope you enjoyed the show tonight, and we are now on the outro. Here we go.
Folks, we hope you've enjoyed the show tonight. Please email us your comment at geocachetalk@gmail.com. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. The show can be found on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Radio Public, or Spotify, as well as at the Geocache Talk website. Don't forget to click that subscribe button below and ring that bell notification so that you can see and hear the show on a weekly basis. And tell your friends about the show. Get them involved with us in the chat room. And until next week, don't just talk about geocaching, go geocaching.
All right. Remember, we'll see everybody on Saturday night. No show next Sunday, just Saturday night show.
You're not going to have a show on Sunday night?
No Sunday night show this next week. We're going to do.
You're killing me, Smalls.
I know it's bad. Well, you're going to be. We'll let you be on the Saturday. You'll be on 2 weeks in a row. It'll be awesome.
Aw, yeah.
There you go. Perfect. All right. Good night, everybody.